and your uncle and your friend and our father.
How old is he?
He's 90 years young. So when my siblings asked me to talk, to welcome everybody, I was of course very excited, but I pretty much knew the reason they asked me to do it was because, as all my siblings know, I am absolutely the favorite Dwyers.
Thank you for the blessing of his life, of his works, of his faith. Thank you, God, for keeping Mom so close to him. And thank you for our families, and thank you for our love. Amen.
Let me just say, Monica and Roseanne and Maureen and Margaret have been instrumental in getting this together. They've been incredible. I didn't forget that. Also throughout the afternoon, if you feel compelled, if you could come up and share a little story with all of us about Dad. So I will start that off. So in mine, it's actually not that long, which is quite. So I've always loved my dad because he's my dad. Because you just love your dad. You don't know why. You just, you know, he supports you. You know, he pays the bills, but you just love your dad. Try it. Can everybody hear me without the mic?
No, use the mic.
All right, let's try it. Is that better?
Yeah.
Years ago, when my mom passed, things really changed in our family, and I'm trying to do it without crying. My dad was always in the picture, but he was only in the picture through my mom. So when you when you call home, Dad would answer and he'd say, "Here's your mom." So you'd maybe have 20 seconds on the phone with Dad. But we knew everything that happened. My mom told my dad. He knew everything. But the gift, and if there's maybe even a silver lining in my mom's passing, is that her loss enabled us to have time with my dad and to learn about my dad and to love my dad and to have incredible opportunities to hear about his life and his life with Mom and his life with his cousins and other people. So we had one-on-one time with my dad. And I, by some act of God, because it was Uncle James who was planning to go with my dad on a trip to Puerto Vallarta, I ended up going in his place for 11 days. I had 11 days alone with my dad. Like, who gets that? Nobody gets that gift. I mean, it's incredible. And to be honest, in anticipation of that trip, I was really anxious. I thought 11 days with my dad. Oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me. He can barely tolerate me being at his house one night. He's gonna be like, when can you leave? And it turned out we had a really beautiful, wonderful, incredible time together. So that being said, I since in the last 7 years, I have not only learned why I love you, but I know you love me. And I feel very blessed. So,
We have everybody's attention.
we have everybody's attention. So this is Brother Martin, a very good friend of Dad's.
I feel very privileged, myself and Brother Michael, who's here, to be invited to this family gathering, family and friends of Bob Dwyer. We've been at meals a few years now with Bob every day, and Bob is rather shy about details of his life, and we've had to kind of pry them out of him. But we've come to know Bob, and generally we talk about calling down God's blessing on Bob, but I realize that Bob has already been much blessed in his life. He's had a wonderful life, his beautiful wife, he has 9 children, 3 sons, and double that number of girls. And a great career, I'd say. And in continuing that career, we're constantly amazed at Bob's effort to complete his bachelor's degree. Last report card, 3 A's and 1 B. But we know it's a great deal of work too, Bob, all the reading he had to do, and all of us at this age, Bob is 90, Mike and I are a bit younger, not that much younger, really. Realize how easy it is to forget and to read something and not remember what we had read. And for Bob to read all that stuff, to write term papers constantly, turning them in, and finding out all that the young people know about the internet and all the technological terms that go along with. Anyway, I'm talking too much. And anyway, we admire Bob tremendously, and we do call down God's blessing on him. And together, let us pray then the grace. Let us, okay. Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts which you're about to receive. God bless Bob Dwyer.
My name is Marty McGuire, and I am Bob's nephew. I have had some wonderful experiences with my Uncle Bob. I remember when I turned about 30 years old, every time I saw him, he'd say, "Marty, you look good. You lose a couple of pounds?" And from that I learned, you know, there's always something nice you can say to somebody. And Bob always found something nice to say. We had an opportunity. I don't know where the Winnebago came from, but there was one time when I was invited along. I think somebody must have paid him a lot of money because I found myself in a party vehicle. I was 9 years old, and there was room to run around, and the vehicle was going down, and we didn't have to go. He could have gone around the block. I would have been just pleased. But it was an overnight trip, so he sainthood after that. And we used to have. When the Dwyer 9 kids and the McGuire 6 kids, when the parents got just fed up of their lot, there would be a switch off, okay? If they take 4 of mine and I take 3 of theirs, somehow this will work out and we'll be a little bit at peace at home, right? And so I was involved with that exchange quite a few times, and we would meet at the fruit stand, I believe. On one of those visits, where my parents were able to get rid of me, I was visiting, and I don't know, they took their eyes off me for a second. I found a $5 bill or something. What am I going to do with this $5? I had this notion that they didn't have my cereal in the house. So the town was about, 3 blocks away. I knew there was a convenience store up there. They would have what I needed. So I went up there, and they had no idea where I was. And Bob found me. You know, I don't know how long they looked, but I was in heaven, you know, I was walking around, and I was 9 years old, maybe, and he found me, and oh, the poor guy. He collected me, and he did not beat me. He brought me back home, and I don't remember that I got the chance to go the next year. I don't know. Wonderful memories, and just a beautiful gathering. Thank you for the Dwyer children for putting this together. Love you all.
And we lived next door to the Dwyers from 1971, and one of the children can say when they moved to Santa Barbara. But that was a formative time. We have 6 children, ages 41 to 57. Wow. And we won't say what the age of the Dwyer children are. But I hope that one of the Dwyer children would get up and refresh in my memory their rank as far as top to Danny. Okay. Memories of living next to the Dwyers. The one when somebody just mentioned the Winnebago. There was a time when one of our 50-year-old children was like 7 or 10, got into the Winnebago and backed the Winnebago down. And at that time, the Dwyers had a young man from Ireland living with them, and he backed into their car. So those are memories that maybe you shouldn't remember, but you do remember. But it's always been an experience growing up next to a family with 9 children, and having our children, I'm sure, influenced in a positive way with that relationship. So there's nothing else I have to say.
Rob, who's the eldest. Where's Rob? Rob is 60. 61. 62. Then we have Monica. She's in the middle here.
She's 38.
61. John. Where's John? John.
58.
You are not 58. 60. Roseanne is next. 59. Margaret. 58. Margaret. And Mary.
I think I'm 56.
Okay, then I'm next. I'm 54. And then Ellen. Where's Ellen? 52. 53? 53. And then Danny is only 18. I think Mom is bringing him beef stew still from heaven. So, who likes to stand up and speak? No, it's not me. But I'm here, and I think it's important that Bob hear from everyone that loves you. And I have such fond memories, especially one comes to mind.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Roseanne and I laughed all the time. It got to the point where Uncle Bob was really mad at us. He'd be like, "Girls!" And we were laughing so bad one night at the dinner table. He's like, you need to go to your room." So we're up there. I'm crying and Roseanne's laughing hysterically. I said, "He's going to come up and spank us. I know he's going to spank us." And she said, "Oh, Janie, my dad would never do that." I said, "Oh, I think so." He comes in the room, get up against the closet. I'm never going to come over again. But he didn't. And she kept laughing. And she got me in trouble. Also, what was just so precious to me as I looked back was he's got a house full of children. And I'm going to Loyola University, and I'm living, they took me in because I didn't want to live with my parents. I was just, one of those times in my life. And they took me in, let me live there. I mean, like, what's one more? Oh my God, I'm so thankful. I am just so thankful because then I did end up getting my degree, and everything is wonderful now. Thank you so much, Uncle Bob. I love you to the ends of the earth.
So, in my opinion, Bob Dwyer is like the, Uncle Pete, how you doing? He's like gets high marks in fatherhood. Great, in my view, great father, excellent father. And I think hopefully I learned a thing or two from him. But one of the things you get from a great father is important life lessons. So I wrote down a few of them. I want to share them with you, just a few. I'm only going to do like 1/3 of this list. Okay, so here's some, I think I got 8 of them. Here are 8 important things we learned from my father. When driving at a high rate of speed and stopping suddenly, extend your right arm in front of the small children riding in the front seat. This will prevent them from flying through the windshield much more effectively than actually fastening their seatbelt. Okay, also we learned it's good to get a company car, even if it's a purple Cadillac. When buying cars for your kids, always buy the oldest, cheapest car you can find. When your kids sideswipe another car, or get stuck on the median strip on Willow Road, the repairs will be less. All right, then in terms of finance, it's better to be rich than to be poor, but it's most satisfying to create the illusion of being rich while actually being poor. A few more. A dog is a lot cheaper than sending your kids to a psychiatrist. That's almost a direct quote from my dad. All right, this is an important one about real estate. Never buy a house where it is physically possible to jump from the roof into the swimming pool. Because if that's physically possible, what's going to happen? All right. This is important also. Always put your beer down before running out of the house to stop Mike Forrester from running over your daughter? Gotta put the beer down first. Never let your teenage daughter go out with Tom Rourke. Oh my God. Or with any guy with a nickname like Skeeter.
It was Scooter!
All right, Scooter?
Yeah.
Scooter, Skeeter, either one is fine. All right, two more. If you are at Lake Lawn Lodge and you hear people running across the roof, yes, those are your kids. That was us. And finally, in terms of foreign and international relations, last one. When using the English language to communicate with a waiter in a Paris restaurant, if the waiter doesn't appear to understand you, you simply repeat what you said in a higher volume. And that always works. That's all I got. Thanks, Dad.
And we've lived everywhere. Where are you staying? Say hi. Why don't you go up there?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to talk to you.
Why? Just tell you the stories about how, you know, you get ran over.
Give me a little time.
A little time? Okay.
Lauren.
Yes.
Oh, that looks so good.
What's up?
Say your name.
I'm Ryan Diltz, member of the Dwyer family.
This is for a vlog, so I
For the vlog. Gotta do it for the vlog. Beautiful.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. So, and then, but that's the only 3 grandchildren that we're not feeling. Oh. That's fine. Yeah, to me, it was totally 80s. I remember. Yeah, because you guys were in Florida, and I remember we were like. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rob. Happy birthday to you.
I finally get a chance to talk. Earlier on, I was talking to one of the girls and I said, well, I could say a few things. They said, your job is to sit down and keep quiet. But now they give me a moment. I want to thank all of you for coming. And it is really interesting that we have so many from out of town. And I know that it's a lot of traveling, spending money coming here. Some of you have taken advantage of it for other occasions, but we have people from Cincinnati, Diltz Dwyer Group, Washington DC, we have Oxford, and we have Colleen, I call her Meehan, but it's Colleen, not Colleen Meehan anymore. We have Brian from Dallas, we have Ryan from New York, from and we have the Shimkos from Orlando. And we got Eileen and Tam from Tampa. We have all of the Dwyer Smucker group from Los Angeles. And Joan Berry's from Los Angeles also. San Francisco. Who's from San Francisco? Joanne. Okay. Carbondale and Wisconsin. We have a few families from Wisconsin. Thanks to you all for all coming today. I just say a few words. I'm 90 years old. I don't feel like I'm 90 years old, but I am. And I do. You know, as that movie went, it's a wonderful life. It has been a wonderful life. They've been the ups and the downs, the good times, not so good times sometimes. And, but I've been very fortunate to marry into the Gladstone family. Peggy, my love, my friend, gave me, with my help, 9 children. And those 9 children with their husbands or mates gave me 22 grandchildren.
Wow.
And now from that group, we have another 3 grandchildren, that's 3 great-grandchildren that you see running around here, causing a lot of problems. It's, I really appreciate all of you coming. I love all of you, and I hope
that we will see you again sometime. Anyhow, thank you very much.
But Mavie and I are going to give our thoughts. We need each other's moral support, and I'm the oldest granddaughter, and she's the youngest one, so. And one of us is taller than the other. It's not the right order, but it's okay. So I just want to say, Grandpa, it's been amazing, you know, since Grandma passed, seeing you blossom into your own independent person, kind of like Mary had said. I think for most of the grandkids, their relationship with you was kind of through Grandma. But since she's passed, you have really not only blossomed into your own person, but taken on that grandparent role. And you've been so good at, you send all of us birthday cards, you know, with thoughtful messages, which is so sweet. And I want to say the biggest thing I've noticed, a change in you is, you know, when you and Grandma used to come to our house, it was like, and hang out after 90 minutes. Like your foot would start tapping, looking at the watch, doing the whole drumming at the table. Like, when are we gonna bounce, Peg? Like, let's go. But I feel like since then you've really just, I don't know, mellowed out a little bit, and are just a lot more like present and able to hang out with us for longer than 90 minutes, which is lovely. And just, you know, I know for me, my siblings, and probably for all of us, you know, just to see you and the way you're living your life now is such an inspiration. I feel like you're redefining what a senior is. And I feel like you're really raising the bar and expectations for, you know, for my parents and for all of us. And just the fact that you've gone to travel and volunteer in Vietnam and Spain, I believe. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, so you're just so inspirational, and I really hope that I am like you when I'm 90. And I can't wait to be here another 10 years, celebrate your 100th.
Just gonna add on to what Colleen said. So I lead. Okay. So I only have one grandparent left, and it's my lovely Grandpa Bob, who was turned 90, and my other friends, like, they might have more grandparents left, but I've met some of them, and unfortunately, like, they might be very sick, or like they're not really with it that much anymore. And so I just feel like really blessed to have like a grandfather who like always wants to know like what I'm doing, always tries to come to events, always like like Megan said, like writes us thoughtful birthday cards and stuff like that. And it's so great having you here. And even I remember at my grandma's memorial service that I went to, I was like 6 years old, and I went up and I talked about her amazing jelly sandwiches. Even though her jelly sandwiches like were great and stuff like that, I still love you so much, Grandpa, and congratulations on turning 90.
And your jelly sandwiches are not as good as Grandma's.
It's cool, we love you.
Love you.
I'm married to Sierra Snapchat. I'm from England. I'm a very new addition to this family, but I must admit that the love that Grandpa Bob has shown me, even in my short time of being here, has been amazing. And I think it's truly wonderful, and the love that everyone else has for him today here is fantastic. So I'd like to round of applause for Grandpa Bob. And I'm done. Thank you.
I walked the whole Dwyer family. We felt like we were relatives, and he was my uncle the whole time growing up. Oh, sorry. But anyways, I remember that we would go up to Lake Lawn Lodge for many years. We would meet up there. We'd take a 4-day weekend. And one particular year, we used to always stay at Woodlawn. There was like the Woodlawn, and then there's Shorewood. But at this point, we stayed at Woodlawn, and there was a pool there, but the pool was broken. But of course, we all like to swim. So we would get in our bathing suits in winter, and we would walk outside a short little block, and we would run across to the main Frontier dining room, which was very fancy in those days. You could not get in there wearing relaxed clothes. And the staff at the restaurant would go crazy, and they were like, oh no, what are these kids doing? Because there'd be like 11 kids in bathing suits walking through their dining room. And Bob and my father would very politely but very sternly go to the staff there and say, listen, We are staying here. We are having a family vacation. Your pool is broken at Woodlawn, and our children will be playing through the restaurant whenever they want to get to the pool in their bathing suit. But honestly, we always have the best times together, and I love you.
But Bob, it's been a blast knowing you as a friend for the past 50 years. From the first day you arrived into that Skylands pub in Castleconnell in the late 60s to my first trip to Chicago when I was just 14, way back in 1967. And as a young child arriving into a Ned Dwyer household in Chicago the following summer. Our lives have intertwined over the years, and I came back to Chicago for summer visits, and you and Peggy had many, many trips to Ireland. I suppose the most memorable was your 25th wedding anniversary tour, when you brought the family. A heavily pregnant Annette at the time, carrying Claire, what was to be Claire, helped drive around Kerry.
Yeah, I was 8.5 months pregnant at the time. But the best fun was when the kids bumped in with us in our very compact 4-bedroom house. You remember it, while you and Peggy spent a very well-deserved break in a hotel.
He was smiling before.